Okay. All right, we're here to have a review of the book Through a Pigskin Prism by my friend Blake Moore. And the two reviewers are two of my three grandsons, George Scoon Sadoji.
Hello.
And Adrian Addis Bush.
Hi.
So they both have read the book and they both liked it. And so George, we'll start with you. What did you find most interesting about the book?
Well, I found it interesting that it kind of talked about the inside of the NFL. Like, you got to learn a lot about the NFL, like more than the NFL insiders talk about, because you actually talked about like what your coach said in practice, not what just a tiny snippet of what he said, like a big like paragraph or something. I thought that was really interesting.
Adrian, what did you think was most interesting?
I found it interesting that it's a football book, but he didn't just talk about football. He talked about academics and other stuff that was going on with his life.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting as well, because he was a much more than a football player, and obviously I know him as a business person. He's very smart. But
He's a 4.0.
Yeah, but it talked about his relationships and so on. So go ahead, George.
Most football books really only talk about football.
Right.
And talk about much else.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe that you already answered this, but what did you think was surprising about the book, Adrian?
I thought it was surprising. I thought it was surprising that he retired.
Yeah.
Kind of early, because his coach said that he probably would have made the team and he would have gotten some decent playing time.
Yeah.
And he retired because he wanted to go to Harvard.
Yeah. Were you surprised at all that that the coach, Forrest Gregg, wouldn't say to him that he'd have a job? Because that's all he had to say. He would have come back for another year. Were you surprised by that, George?
Yeah, I was surprised that he retired at such a young age. I mean, there's some NFL players that do that, but just a small amount. But usually it's for a good reason, like going to Harvard.
Yeah, that's a pretty good reason. So, have you recommended the book to any of your friends, Adrian?
No, I haven't had the chance to see any of my friends since I've read it.
Would you recommend it to them?
Yes, I would.
Yeah. And George, how about you?
Well, sometimes at school, like when I took that book to school to read it, and sometimes when they saw it, like I was carrying it, people were like, "Oh, what's that book?" And I was like, "Oh, it's this book about this NFL lineman and kind of his like journey." And so they kind of thought that was interesting. So,
Yeah, very interesting. So, anything you'd like to tell Mr. Moore about about the book?
Well, I thought it was great.
Adrian?
It was a really, really good book. I really liked it.
Okay. And maybe one last tip for Mr. Moore is to tell him how to putt better. All right. Thank you, everyone.